Oh, I'm muted. Okay. 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 So, I mean, that's what happens when you don't get enough sleep. Yeah, that's what happens. Everything is just all over. You're not thinking straight. You have things kind of messed up. And you're like, okay. We're talking about sleep. Thank you for joining. What I was saying is, let me know where you're joining me from. Let me know one of those two things. Which one would yours be? Are you Yeah, so sorry you couldn't hear me, but I'm here now. Don't worry. I'm here now. I fixed it. That's what happens when you have your sleep messed up. So I can do with more sleep in my life. What about you? Do you think that, hey, my sleep habits, my sleep pattern, I need to be able to sleep more? Or do you think that, hey, no, I don't need more sleep. I need something to keep me awake and functioning. Which one of these two groups do you belong to? Okay, thank you for joining from Houston, Texas. I don't know who this is, but I'll find out shortly. So thank you all for joining me. We're talking about sleep. Sleep, sleep disorders. Sleep is so complex. It is such a complex biological phenomenon. Even it's not just biological, even spiritual. We all need and we can do with a lot more sleep, in our lives than we need it. We just need it. So, as I was preparing, I was like, the brain is so fascinating because, I'm awake right now. I'm alive. I'm talking, and my brain is working. And then imagine that moment that you were sleeping and you are like literally dead. You know nothing that is going on around you. Yet the brain is functioning. Oh, Uncle Adepo, thank you. Thank you for joining. That's all the way from Austria. Thank you for joining. I appreciate this. I always appreciate you. Thank you. Sleep, awake, asleep. Consciousness, right there. You're conscious, your brain is working while you're alert and while you're asleep. But in between, what is going on? Why do we need to sleep? What is the essence of sleep? What are the phases of sleep? What is the sleep cycle? And what are the problems we have with sleep? So today I want to introduce us to the topic. This is going to be a series and it's going to be a very enlightening and fun-filled one. So I want you to get ready to be with me on this journey. So, sleep. Why do we need sleep? What are the things happening when we're asleep and the brain is working? What is the brain doing? So there are two theories. Okay, there are two theories, interesting theories about sleep. Why do we need to sleep? The two theories are this. The first one is while we're sleeping, the brain is busy cleaning and repairing. The brain is busy getting some things in place. There's some proteins. It's doing the cleaning work. Kind of like when you are in an office building and the cleaners usually come in the night to clean out and dust and do all the things they need to do so that they don't disturb the regular activity of the day. So that is one of the things that the brain does when we're sleeping. So God has created it that way, in a way that while you need your brain to function while you're conscious, and you still need the brain still has some work to do while we're sleeping. And what's this work? Cleaning. There's some proteins in the brain that has to be taken care of, that has to be taken away. Example of surgery, we have the better amyloids. These better amyloids, they are the building blocks for what images and studies that have shown on Alzheimer's disease. They're the building blocks for the plaques and tangles that we have, where that we see in the brain of those who have Alzheimer's disease. But that is just one of it. Do we need the neurons to be repaired? Do we need the proteins? The ones that we do not need, do we need to be able to clear them off? The brain is doing that while we're sleeping, and the brain needs time. The brain needs that time to be its time for the cleaning. And a study of this in rats shows that rats, even though they haven't done it in human beings, but it shows that sleep deprived rats, those the rats who were not able to get enough of the sleep, they had a buildup of these better amyloids, and we have the proteins are there that we the unneeded ones, the ones that are supposed to be wasted, they just keep being there and start building up and later become harmful. Okay. The second theory is this, it's a memory consolidation. And I found this with the UCLA, sleep department. Like, memory consolidation is during the day, there's so much going on. There's a lot we're learning. There's a lot you're taking in, the person you meet, the new information that we get. We're accumulating a lot of information during the day, during our awake time. And it is during the sleep time that the brain is sorting things out, compartmentalizing them, putting the ones that should be here where they should be, and put everything in a way, and put them where they should be for retrieval, put them where they should be, the short-term memories, put everything where they should be while we're sleeping. And as this is happening, it's like during the sleep, as we are sleeping, are there phases? What are the things that happen while we're sleeping? We now know, okay, we need to sleep. It's important for growth in children. It's important for life. It's important for cognitive purposes. It's important for development. It's important for all those things. But as sleep occurs, what is there? Is there a pattern? Is there something going on during sleep period? Yes. The studies have shown that the sleep cycle, the one is about 90 minutes. And phases is divided into two major ones. Please stay with me here. It's divided into two major ones. We have the REM sleep and the non-REM sleep. Okay, so we have the non-REM sleep, N1, N2, N3, and the REM sleep. N1, that is the lightest, the shortest, and that is when we're just falling asleep. I don't know if you've ever experienced something like you're sleeping and you feel like you're falling, like you're falling, and you just wake up suddenly, like, what just happened? You have that sleep gag, like something just happened to you. You just find yourself somewhere and you have to bring yourself back. I don't know if this has ever happened to me. It happened to me. That's like the phase, the N1, the light sleep is the shortest phase, is the lightest phase, that is when we're just starting. Then the N2, that is still like the medium. This is where people usually have the teeth grinding while they're sleeping, and bruxism, where the teeth grinding takes place in this place. And that phase is not usually that long too. And then it's just there. Then we end three when people are just getting into, this is the deepest part of sleep. This is the deep sleep. This is the deep sleep. And this is where you have people having the sleepwalking, the sleep eating, the night terrors. Like Sally was doing down there when we started, like when you just, have the terror and you have, things something terrible happening, and you just so deeply asleep. And this is the phase where people sleep walk, sleep talk. This is a place where we have bedwetting going on. This is a place where we have all these things that the people do in their sleep and they don't even recollect it. And then that's N3. And then we have the last one, which is the REM sleep, the rapid eye movement, that part where we start dreaming. That is where our dream is. That is where we have, the that is where we have, oh, I had this sweet dream, or this is where we have the nightmares, depending on how your dream goes. And that's the REM part. So having those faces, it helps to know at what, their brain, their brain waves, different kind of waves or signal that the brain sends on the sleep study, on the sleep study, or the study of the waves of the brain at that time. It helps know when something is going on, where is this thing going on, and then it's part of what it's considered when we're talking about the treatment or intervention for a sleep problem. So we have these three phases, takes place 90 minutes. So we have the non-REM, REM, non-REM, REM, non-REM, REM, non-REM, REM. We have it going on like that. And that's how we have the 90 minutes going on all through. Now, you'll say, why, you know, are people having problems? So what are the things causing the problems that people have when we're talking about sleep disorder? Now, let me ask you, what problem do you think people have most when it comes to sleep? What do you hear people saying out there mostly? Is it, I can't sleep, I can't even sleep, or oh my God, I always find it difficult staying asleep? Which one of the two do you hear people say more or talk about more? Or which one do you experience? Is it I can't sleep? Or do you hear people saying they're sleeping too much? Or do you hear people talking about these behaviors? Which one of them? I'd like you to share with me in the comment. Okay, so now we've talked about the faces, we talked about the reason that we have to sleep. Now let's talk about what are the problems people have with sleep? What are the common problems that people talk about? So in psychiatry, we have about nine, if not more, of different types of sleep disorders that we consider, that we talk about. But I don't want to take us through all that. For the sake of this, show, this episode, I want to just divide the sleep problems. I don't want to call them disorders for a purpose because they're not all disorders. I want to divide the sleep problems into three: excessive daytime sleeping. People are sleeping too much when they're supposed to be awake during the day, or difficulty sleeping, either falling asleep or maintaining your sleep, or waking up early. Problem: sleeping, going to sleep or maintaining sleep. And the third one will be the weird, unusual behaviors associated with sleep, which will be parasomnias. I want us to divide it into those three things. And today, what I will do is to briefly tell us what are the common causes of these things. And then we'll talk about specific ones on the next two shows. We'll then talk about treatment on the last episode of this series. Okay, so sleep disorders, sleep problem. I want to distinguish now between sleep deprivation and sleep disorders. It's not everyone, let me see if I have comments here. It's not everyone who is complaining about not being able to sleep that actually has a sleep disorder. There are, in fact, a lot of people have sleep deprivation and not a disorder per se. What's the difference between the two? Good question. The one major thing is this: with sleep deprivation, You have the opportunity to sleep, but you have the opportunity to sleep, you have the ability to sleep, but you are not using that opportunity to sleep. Hence, you are sleep deprived. So it's not that when you go to bed, you're not able to sleep. It's just that you are not using that opportunity to sleep. Like you have to study, like you have to work. Like some people don't even know the value or the importance of sleep, and they just think that, hey, it's cool to say, I only slept 4 hours, I only sleep 5 hours, I only sleep 3 hours because I need to get this done. Now, it's still okay if it's just for a short period of time, but when it becomes like a pattern, like I said, you're depriving yourself of sleep because of something. Is not that when you get to bed, you won't be able to fall asleep or stay asleep. The problem is that you are not using that opportunity in spite of the ability you have to fall asleep and have a good restorative sleep. That is sleep deprivation. That does not necessarily mean you have a disorder. Okay. Now, when we come to sleep disorders, or we're talking about, in this case, insomnia, let me specify insomnia here, the inability to fall asleep or stay asleep, or waking up too early. Now, that is when, in spite of your ability, of the opportunity to sleep, or even having gotten okay, I'm talking about insomnia. In spite of your ability, of the no, no, no. What am I saying? In spite of the opportunity to sleep, you're in bed, you want to sleep, but you're not able to sleep. And you try different things and you're just not able to sleep. So this is not you not using the opportunity that you have to sleep. It is this inability to just fall asleep. So that is one difference we all have to keep in mind and ask ourselves, am I sleep depriving myself, or do I really have a sleep problem? If a lot of people would answer this question, we're going to have a significant reduction in the number of people complaining about not being able to sleep, significantly, because so many people, business business owners, parents, students, a lot of medical students, law students, you have a nursing students, you have a board exam coming, and at that time you're just sleep deprived, and this might be for a short while and it will go away. So when people are talking about the sleep problem or sleep disorders, ask yourself first, do I really am I really using the opportunity that I have to sleep, before you start taking medications, or before you start seeking help, or before you start self-medicating or complaining or worrying about you not able to sleep. Now, I told you there are three different, three disorders. I'll just classify the problems into three major classes. Excessive daytime sleeping. Why do we have this happening? There are different things that can cause this. One of it is poor quality of sleep. Poor quality of sleep. You're not sleeping in a good environment. You're sleeping, you're watching TV, you are, your partner snores, or you are a new mom, or a new dad to a newborn. You have to, wake up several times, and you just have things to do that's keeping you up for something at that time. You just have poor quality of sleep. You live where there's a rail track, and you have trains passing every 2 hours. The environment is just not conducive. That's one of the reasons why people, then, you don't have good quality of sleep. You're going to have excessive daytime sleepiness. It goes that way if the circadian rhythm is working well. It's been disturbed, and then you'll have an issue. The other one is when you have insufficient quantity of sleep. You sleep 2 hours. Oh, I have to do something. I do this sometimes when I have projects. I have to do something, and then you're only setting your alarm to work to sleep for 3 hours, or you set your alarm to only sleep for 4 hours, and you wake up. Now, that is you getting insufficient quantity of sleep. And during the day, you would have trouble staying awake because you haven't gotten the adequate number of sleep you were supposed to have during the night. Insufficient sleep and poor quality of sleep. Now, another one is just a pathological disorder. There's something going on. You have a sleep problem like insomnia, which we're going to talk about. That is there, or you have night terrors, or you're having bedwetting, or you have all this maybe sleepwalking. You haven't really had enough sleep. You have some things going on with your sleep pattern, and then you are not able to get a restorative quality sleep. You start having excessive daytime sleepiness. So we have that issue. Another one is narcolepsy. We That one is genetic. This is where people can just they can be doing anything and they just fall asleep. Safety is always an issue here with narcolepsy. It is that you know, irresistible attack, call it like sleep attack, that can take somebody from being awake right now and you fall right down into the REM sleep. You fall in deeply asleep. Sometimes they have it with, catalepsy, where the whole muscles of the body just, the muscle tone just relax and they sleep like that. When you have a pathological disorder of excessive daytime sleepiness, it's one of those things that can cause this thing that we have. Now, the one that relates to me mostly is maybe you have a medical issue, maybe something going on with your thyroid, maybe you're taking some medications, or maybe you have a cancer, or maybe you have a metabolic disorder, something going on. We can have that causing excessive daytime sleepiness. And then mood disorder is another one. Depression is one that is very common, where people just have this, hypersomnolence. They are sleeping. They can't. They can't stay awake. They're having excessive sleepiness because they have a mood issue. So now medical issue or psychiatric issue can be a reason that somebody is having excessive daytime sleepiness. And this is why when it comes to psychiatry, we're looking at what is going on. We're looking at, hey, sleep. You're asking your patient all the time, are you sleeping well? Are you oversleeping? It's one of those things that we look out for. Somebody with social anxiety too can just stay at home and believe, let me just sleep. I would rather sleep than deal with going out. And when we have sleep issues with mood disorders, it's one of the reasons that you're having excessive daytime sleepiness, either because you didn't sleep well during the night, or you're waking up but you are just not in a good mood, and everything in you is just wants to sleep. Another one is a circadian rhythm disorder. So that one, a lot of people who are shift workers, a lot of people who travel a lot, you have to be, they're juggling within 3 time zones within 5 days, because they have to be in this meeting, or they have to be here, or they have to be there. Or those who night, a lot of nurses, a lot of doctors, a lot of security guards, a lot of people who work at night also have the circadian rhythm disorder, where they are sleeping during the day because they have they've not been able to get enough rest at the time that the body clock, the circadian clock, is supposed to have us sleeping. So people start having excessive daytime sleepiness. So these are some of the things that happened, or the causes of excessive daytime sleepiness, that if you will check, what is going on with me with this sleep disorder, which one of the two which one of these three or which one of the five or which one relates to me, you'll be able to pick it up, and then you can work on work on it. Either you need to seek help if it's a mood disorder, either you need to see a sleep specialist if it's narcolepsy, either you need to adjust your work pattern, either you need to adjust your environment. If you sleep in a place that is so noisy, you'll be able to see, hey, I can do something here about my sleep because it's based on this, instead of looking for medication as the first line treatment. Mm-mm. It's not that. It's not like that. Now, okay. The next one is those who are not able to initiate sleep, or they're not able to maintain sleep, or they're waking up early. Causes, common causes of this, again, psychiatric disorder features prominently. You might have issues like I talked about mood disorder. With depression, for example, one is either sleeping too much or not being able to sleep. That's one. Um, Maintaining sleep is usually difficult, especially like for somebody that has depression and they're not able to even, there's a lot on their mind, and there's the dejection, there's a feeling of hopelessness, there's a feeling of trouble. They're just troubled, and they stay awake, and as much as they have that opportunity to sleep, remember, but they're just not able to sleep. This happens with people with psychiatric disorders. uh, Another psychiatric disorder that is known, to have the sleep issue is bipolar. When somebody is in a manic phase of bipolar, one of the red flags or one of the indicators is they don't feel the need to sleep. The need for sleep disappears, and they stay awake for 3 days. They don't feel the need to sleep even for 5 days, and they're just so wired. Their brain won't stop working. They have racing thoughts, and you know it is very distressful, and it's one of the red flags that family members can pick up, or that loved ones can pick up when they have somebody with a diagnosis of bipolar that might be in a manic or hypomanic phase. So yeah, psychiatric disorder is one of the leading causes of insomnia. Medication or neurological issues, like there's some medications when you take them, they keep you awake, either for medical issues or for even treatment of mood disorders. Some medications will keep you awake. And that's why, I think just last week, actually, what are we, Saturday? This week, I had a patient that had to switch her medication. This is even just a antidepressant that she's been taking at night. She found out that when we increase the dosage of that medication, she's not able to sleep well at night. So the first plan is, hey, start taking it in the morning. We don't have to increase it now. We don't necessarily have to decrease the medication because it's working well with her mood. It's helping her mood, but she's not able to sleep well. So let's switch it to morning time. So sometimes the medication that you're taking can be impacting your sleep. So if you're not able to maintain sleep, if you're not able to initiate sleep, or you're waking up too early, try and check what medications am I taking. Even a medication for a medical disorder, a medical issue, check and talk to your doctor about it. So that is one. Alcohol is another one. People think, hey, I'm not able to sleep. Can I just take a shot of brandy, or can I take this, or can I just drink something and drink myself to sleep? Well, alcohols are depressants. When you take them, you sleep, you wake up. And the problem is, as you're taking them to aid sleep and waking up, the tolerance is getting higher. The dependence issue is coming. So you start needing more, the tolerance, you're needing more to help you fall asleep. And then you have to keep taking it to help you stay asleep. That is not a healthy way to go, but it is one thing that can actually, impact, ability to sleep or maintain sleep when we're talking of insomnia. Another one is the circadian rhythm. So with this circadian rhythm, I want to quickly tell us this. There's something we call the propensity for sleep, like, you know, how the body is designed with the neurotransmitters we have in our body. If you've heard of melatonin, I'm sure when you go to the, pharmacy stores, so you've heard melatonin a lot. Well, our body produces melatonin, and it usually starts. Okay, so let me not just start with that. So in the morning, we wake up, say 9 o'clock, 8, 9 o'clock, you wake up. Now, I can't say for different people based on years of pattern of your sleep pattern or your work pattern, this might have changed, but the usual normal thing is wake up in the morning, you're alert, it's bright and beautiful outside. 9 o'clock, the wake propensity is highest. You are awake, you're ready to go. And then when it gets to like about 3 p.m., you're like, I can really do with a nap right now. You feel, you're not that alert. Then it kicks on again during the day, and by 9 p.m., you're like, the melatonin starts surging, the melatonin starts kicking in, which is with the darkness is also helping us with the stimulation of that. Then you have melatonin coming in and you're ready to sleep. Now, the propensity for being awake is lowest at about 3 a.m. That is when you if you're sleeping, getting to sleep at about 9 p.m. At 3 a.m., the propensity for your alertness or awakeness is at the lowest. So between like 2:30 to like 3 a.m. period, that is when it is like supposed to be most difficult for anybody to wake up. It's a good time to sleep. But guess what? A lot of us with our phones, a lot of us with travels, a lot of people with series that we have to watch, a lot of adolescents that have to that want to watch something or chat with their friend till like 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. They're there and they're not really uh you're not sleeping when you're supposed to sleep. That is probably when you're getting to sleep. So you're delaying your sleep. So you're changing the circadian rhythm, and then you're now having struggle getting things back. So your sleep cycle, the circadian rhythm is just messed up. You're not sleeping when you're supposed to sleep. You're finding time to sleep when you're supposed to be at your peak awake period, and we're having things just not going well. And you know, sometimes taking care of sleep disorder, or what you think might be a sleep disorder or sleep problem, might just be adjusting or getting something right in our daily routine or in our patterns or in the things that we do on a daily basis. So we have that going on. Now, another thing with staying asleep or falling asleep or waking up early, it's acute stress or changes around us. One significant one that I can relate to very well is, especially with maintaining sleep, is for those who are new parents. New parents have their sleep pattern interrupted so much. And that is why, again, the need for support, the need for help for new moms and new dads should be a priority for every family that has a newborn in that family. It is very important. So stresses like that, if you're waking up to care for a newborn, are the things that can cause not being able to sleep, or the fear of what if I fall asleep too much and I don't hear when my baby is crying, and they have to stay up. It's another one for insomnia. Now, what about acute stress? Like, we have bills to pay, you have a relationship problem, you have issues with your spouse, or you have trouble at work, or you have a failed business, or you're starting a business or scaling a business, or you have something. Sometimes it's even something so exciting, like, oh, you got a new job, now tomorrow is your first day, or you're getting a promotion, or you're expecting a baby, or there are different kind of stresses that can get us in a moment, in a specific period of time, to not be able to initiate sleep because we have a lot that we're worrying about, or that is affecting our maintenance of sleep, or that is waking us up so early. So that's another one. And next week, we're going to be talking about some specific disorders that has to do with excessive daytime sleepiness, we'll pick out about two or three, and then the next one will talk about the specific problems with initiating and maintaining sleep, and then the last one is going to be parasomnia and treatment. So quickly about parasomnia, that's just, like I mentioned, the unusual behavior during sleep. This is where people start maybe acting out their sleep, their dreams. They're acting out their dreams. They're kicking and punching. I had one patient about 2 weeks ago. He's a veteran, and he talks about, oh, he was talking about, my wife tells me that I'm always kicking and punching in the sleep. Sometimes she'll have to wake me up. I've even punched her like 2 or 3 times. I'm like, oh, poor woman. You know, it has this problem, and we had to address it, and I will tell you how we address this when we're talking about sleep disorders and the treatment. I'll tell you the things that we can do when we're talking about that the treatment phase. So we have people acting out. Another thing is we have people eating in their sleep. There are people that would wake up, go to the kitchen and make a meal, eat, go back to sleep. They are in that N3 phase. They are doing stuff that they are completely unaware of. And the worst part of it is that when they wake up from their sleep, they're not able to remember what is going on. I had a patient about 3 months ago, or 3 or 4 months ago, that had this issue. Unfortunately, while I was talking about the plan and the things to do, this is like an African descent. Unfortunately, it didn't show up for the next visit, because they just thought, okay, we don't want to do this anymore. But this is a serious sleep disorder that should be taken care of. Safety is an issue, and they need a appropriate plan in place for everybody that is having this kind of issues with behaviors, unusual behaviors during sleep. Now, one other thing we should know about unusual behavior during sleep is studies have shown that people that have this kind of sleep disorders, they are more likely to have a neurodegenerative disorders as they grow older. They are at a higher risk of having a neurodegenerative disorder as they're growing older. We're talking about things like, different types of dementia, or, a kind of cognitive issues, cognitive problems. Yeah. With this class of sleep problem, parasomnia, it should not be taken it should not be taken for granted. It should be looked into, and a sleep specialist should actually be consulted if you experience this. Someone People tell you that, hey, you fight in your sleep, or you kick in your sleep, or you sleepwalk, or you eating in your sleep, or some people even drive while they're sleeping. Very dangerous, very dangerous. So look into this. Don't take it lightly. Tell a loved one that might be going through this to really see a sleep specialist for this, and put a appropriate treatment plan in place for them to address it. So I'll stop here today. I don't know if anybody has any question. If there's something that I've said that you don't understand, or that you have more question about, please let me know, and let's look into it. And we are going to address it together. Sleep problems. Not all sleep problems need medication. Not all sleep problems should be ignored. Not all sleep problems can be treated. So let us talk about sleep more on this series, and keep your question coming. Thank you. Okay, so all right, thank you for joining me today. I will see you next week as we talk more about sleep problems that has to do with excessive daytime sleepiness. And until then, I will tell you this: my mental health matters. What about yours? All right, bye bye.